I've spent the last 4 years getting regular blood donations just to stay alive, and I finally qualified to donate myself. It sounds weird, but when you're sick for long enough, your body becomes this constant project. Doctors, tests, needle marks, waiting rooms that all blur together. I'd lost count of how many transfusions I'd had by the time I hit remission. 7, 8, the whole experience rewired something in my brain. I became obsessed with giving back, not in some Instagram-worthy way, but in the quiet, stubborn way that comes from actually understanding how fragile things are, how one person's donation literally kept me breathing. When my doctor cleared me to donate, I actually cried. I know that sounds dramatic, but for years I'd been on the receiving end. The idea that my body could finally do something useful instead of just being a problem to manage felt like winning, like I'd actually earned the second chance I'd been given. The phlebotomist was running through his usual questions when he noticed something on my chart. He went pale, like actually pale. "Have you ever been tested for a rare antigen marker?" I said no. He disappeared for like 10 minutes, came back with his supervisor, and they both started acting weird, like they'd found something in my blood they weren't expecting, like something clicked that shouldn't have clicked. Turns out my blood type is so uncommon that there's literally a registry. They explained it using words I half understood: HPA typing, rare phenotypes, immunization risk, but the basic takeaway was my blood could help specific people with specific conditions. Not just anyone, specific people, probably not many of them. They asked if they could add me to the registry for emergency transfusions. I said sure, whatever helps people. I didn't think about it much after that. Signed some forms, donated, went home, went back to living my life like nothing had changed. 3 weeks later, the hospital called back. They had a match. A kid, maybe 9 years old, needed my blood type for emergency surgery the next morning. His parents had been searching for compatible blood for months and nothing worked. My name came up. I showed up at 5 a.m., still half asleep, not fully processing what I was walking into. The nurses knew the procedure, knew what was at stake. They didn't explain much, just took the donation, and I went home wondering if it would even matter, if the surgery would work, if the kid would make it. The hospital called me again 6 months later with an update. The kid wanted to meet me. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. What do you even say to someone whose life you literally saved? It's such a huge thing, and also completely impossible to put into words. You can't just shake their hand and say, no problem. I walked into the waiting room that Saturday afternoon, and this small kid in a dinosaur shirt runs up to me like I was a celebrity. He throws his arms around me, and I'm standing there trying not to cry in front of strangers in the hospital lobby. His mom was trailing behind him, eyes red. She grabbed my hand and couldn't speak for like 30 seconds. Then she handed me an envelope. Inside is a drawing the kid made, me in a superhero cape with a giant smile. Below it, written in shaky letters, "You gave me tomorrow." I kept thinking about that phrase all week, tomorrow, like it was something specific he was holding on to now, something concrete, something he wouldn't have had. His mom added me on social media after that. I started seeing photos of him, Halloween costume, soccer game, birthday party with way too much cake, normal kid stuff, the kind of moments that feel sacred when you think about how close they came to never existing. But here's what destroys me. The hospital called me back last week. They were doing routine follow-up blood work on the kid as part of his ongoing care. Standard stuff, nothing alarming. His results came back, and the lab flagged something unusual. He has the exact same antigen marker I do, the 1 in 4 million antigen marker. The doctors called me personally because they wanted to let me know the odds of this were so astronomically low they had to retest to make sure it wasn't a lab error. It wasn't. They triple-checked. Same result. Which means when he turns 18 and gets tested, he's probably going to be able to save someone's life too, and that person he saves might save someone else.